What's up, jabronis? Welcome to another installment of the Hump-cast. We're at our 10th podcast, Hump-cast. This week, we're of course brought to you by Common Sense, raddest gift shop in town. Spencer Gifts is pretty cool. They don't have the same light thing, but they want to have the same books and the same stickers and incense, all that good stuff. They've got you covered. Some good clothes, whatnot. But more importantly, it's an independent shop. So go and support Common Sense. This week, we're brought to you by the Pita Pit. If you haven't eaten there, go eat there. We've got Jordan Holt and Frank in the house. And we're off. Oh, also a show this Saturday. I don't have a flyer for it. Pretend this is a flyer. Yeah. Got my notes right here. What is up, jabronis and bitches? To all of you out there, welcome to another installment of the Hump-cast. The local guys that get together and chat about nonsense. Bunch of chatty Cathy's is what we are. Let me make sure we got everyone in the shop. Think we got everyone, dude?
Yeah, turn maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Alright, yeah. Alright.
Here we go.
This week we've got Jordan on the couch with us, Jordan Holt, and we've got Frank in the house.
Says your name like a European.
Jordan. Yeah. Yeah, how are you guys doing this week? How you feeling?
Feel pretty good. How are you?
Feeling alright? I'm alright. No. I worked, started this new job. It's going pretty cool. Good people.
That's good.
Nice folks, earthy aromas, you know?
Earthly aromas.
Yeah, I think this chick wants to come on next week. Her name's Lucy.
Okay.
And she wears a onesie. To me, that's like, you know.
All the time?
Not all the time. I mean, maybe. It's possible. It's possible. I don't know.
What? Why? How'd you get to that conversation? It's like,
well, here's how it happened.
Wears footsies?
No. Well, you know, it comes up. This other coworker that I have, he took a picture of himself in a onesie. And yeah.
I've seen those at Walmart.
And so that's how it came up. And then like this chick bought it for him, so you know, she was thinking of him. She saw that particular onesie. So anyway, she might come on. And then Haper is supposed to come on here. He's I believe bass player for Southmouth. He's done some pretty insane projects. Like the stuff is very highly unique. I'll say that much.
Huh.
Yeah.
more experimental.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've also got, we just want to touch on that show again that's coming up. That's this Saturday. That's going to be with June Embers. They're the headliners. I saw in the 605 magazine that they advertised it in there, which is awesome.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've always had, I haven't had any relationship with them because every time I email them, they'll say something back to me, but nothing ever really gets done. They just don't like my music.
I've never had any luck either.
Yeah, zero. Like, but it's crazy. They swear to God, they've done like every musician. You know what I mean? A bunch of them.
They've done a lot of them. I know they did.
Fatal. They did
Fatal. They did After the Sun, and of course they did Tennessee. You know, so there's like.
I'm wondering if June Embers is working with Pepper Entertainment. Or if they just did that on their own because.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like they get maybe like referred by somebody who works for Pepper.
Well, the thing is, like, you know,
Something
I mean,
like
I
that.
contacted all the bands and set up a show and print up the flyers and you know
Sure.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Ran around and put some up and stuff.
You did all the legwork.
Right. So I mean, I set up the show, but in the 605 they've got, you know, June Embers. They listed the rest of the bands, and then it says for more info go to pepperentertainment.com. And I'm like,
Oh, okay.
why would you put that there?
Is it a Pepper
You
show?
should- No, I'm telling you. I just told you. I set up the show. I contacted the bands. I
Yeah.
went and I
Who's running the door
I designed
there?
the flyer. I'll be doing the door, or usually Cindy will hire someone. You know what I mean? And I work
From
with that
Cindy
person.
from Latitude.
Yep, Cindy from she'll have someone at the door to take money, and then I usually hang out with that person and just make sure everything's on the level, you know.
Okay.
And
That's it.
yeah.
So
yeah,
how did they get the whole like sponsored by Pepper Entertainment?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Although Cindy has a deal with Pepper.
Yeah, they do.
Sometimes
Is
it's
that the
a venue
deal?
thing.
Well,
Yeah.
but
Cindy has a deal with Pepper Entertainment.
Oh, see, now that makes sense. That makes sense.
Could
It
be a
should-
venue deal.
Right, Pepper's doing some
Yeah,
promotion.
because
for
Boonies
her.
doesn't have that. Boonies is like Vince is like all
Right.
by
All right.
himself, which
Well,
is awesome because he'll let you do whatever you want. You know,
Yeah,
if
that
you want
kinda
to charge
makes
the
it-
door, he's fine with that. If you don't want to charge the door, he's fine with that.
Yeah.
Well, either way, he makes his money, so you know.
Yeah, but I mean, he takes. I mean, he deals with different, people differently. I'm sure at different levels. You know what I mean? But
Well, the reason
every
Cindy
show
has-
I've ever done anything, just every show I've ever done at Boonies has always taken at least 25 to 30% of the door.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've never had any of that.
Yeah, I mean, and with other people, like, you know what I mean. I'm sure it's different. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what he.
Well, Flux
We
is
don't get
playing
paid from him. I mean, but we don't really play to make money or ask for money or anything like that.
Really?
It's very rare that we get paid for a gig.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
just
strange.
We're not really concerned with it.
That's cool.
Well, it's Boonies, man. It's like right there. It's like almost 3 blocks from my house. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean that's
better than sitting at the house most of the time, you know.
You know, that's the stuff that I used to, to reinvest in, you know what I mean, recording and merchandise
But,
to sell.
We
And like,
just end up
that's
spending it
that's
on
where
band rent.
right, or gear,
sort
I mean,
of
promotion.
Kickstarter, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
shit, I've never tried it. We're gonna try it with Stay Lucky once everything gets together with that, and we're gonna try and do a Kickstarter so we can record with that Rose, and hopefully that'll work out. But anyway, so that answers my burning question. I was curious what the deal was, what relationship Cindy had with Pepper. You know what I mean? That didn't
Well,
occur to me that
the only
didn't occur to me
reason
that
she
that's why
does
she got
that
the
is because she doesn't want to deal with, like booking people and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't blame her there. That could be stressful.
Well,
You
she's
have,
awesome.
Like, everybody and their mom throwing CDs at you.
Yeah, she's awesome.
band,
Yeah, she's really cool.
That could be.
But anyway, yeah, no luck with the 605 magazine. You know what I mean?
I've never had any luck with it.
Yeah.
I don't-
Maybe
But we've never released an album either. Like
you never did. You had CDs you put out.
we have like home recordings, and then we did like 3 tracks at Cat House as like kind of a demo, and that was it. That's all we've done. So we haven't actually. We probably got 15 songs, but we haven't recorded really many of them at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's interesting. What the directions that they go with write-ups like on people. You know what I mean?
I think you do have to release at least an album, because I know that Fatal released an album, Tennessee released an album.
Oh yeah.
And then what was the other one we mentioned?
Just Fatal. They also did Sever the Masses.
Yeah, they did Sever.
Yeah,
I mean, they
Sever.
released an album. These are all bands that released an album.
Yep,
An album,
yep.
so kinda
Absolutely.
sitting under the surface. And it's because we're always broke.
Well, when I did my CD release for my acoustic stuff,
Mhm.
you know what I mean. I approached them about maybe helping me do a little write-up or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I just never heard anything back from them. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I got like one response from the guy who reviews music. He's like, thank you for reaching out. I'll check out your music. Never heard anything back. So that to me translates like, I don't like your stuff. You know what I mean? It's not interesting to me. I don't want to listen to it. It's not,
I don't
it's not the
like-
direction we want to go.
That's not where you should be, though, if you're... I don't know if that's how they are, if you're just wanting a list of many, or, I don't know.
Hmm.
But I would think that's probably not it. I would like to think that wouldn't be a reason to deny somebody's like, I don't like your music. Like that's kind of like your media outlet. Your job is to just kind of find music that people enjoy and then spread it.
Right,
It's not really,
right.
it shouldn't be a personal opinion affected thing.
And the thing is, I've been consistently playing acoustic shows and playing in bands for a long time in Sioux Falls. I mean, over a decade. And the fact that they would ignore me when I, repeatedly, contacted them, to give me a little bit of press to help out with what I'm doing, already,
Yeah.
is annoying.
Yeah, we haven't even tried.
Yeah, it's annoying. I don't know why. So
We're,
that's
you
it.
know-
I'm done bitching about 605. I'm all like whiny today about the 605. Anyway, moving on to something vastly more
Alright.
interesting. I watched Alf. I watched the first episode of Alf on Hulu, and it was fucking weird, man. Have you? When's the last time you watched an episode of Alf?
I haven't watched an episode of Alf in probably 5 years. But I remember watching when I was older, when I was,
Relatively not that long ago.
like, yeah, like 20 years old or so, and it was like, gives you that uncomfortable feeling like, I feel like I'm still a kid watching this shit. So it's like a deja vu.
Deja vu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because like you can recognize certain things. You pick, you know what I mean, certain angles and stuff. You have that connection to when you were a kid. Yeah, I mean, like you still remember like certain things, but at the same time, it's really new to you because you know you're an adult. You're seeing it again. You don't remember everything like the same way, but you know subconsciously you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some movies I watch just for that kind of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Feel, like The Princess Bride and Labyrinth.
Yeah, Princess Bride, Labyrinth. Yeah.
Princess Bride is actually my favorite movie of all time.
Are you serious?
So, absolutely.
Oh
I know
God,
every
my girlfriend
word.
Rachel loves that.
It's because it's an amazing movie and it's hilarious. It's
She
not
loves
really
it.
dirty, but it's really hilarious.
I don't understand. It's like her Catcher in the Rye.
See, that's how it is for me, man.
Really? And I've met a couple other people that are obsessed with that movie.
I know, like Jarrell Showbro. That's his.
Are you really?
That's his
Are you
favorite movie.
serious?
Remember the big Undertaker-looking motherfucker? His name is Jim
Thor?
Cornette. Yeah,
The
the big
Thor guy?
Undertaker guy is like 7 foot.
Is that what you're talking
who
about?
hangs up with us?
His name's Thor?
No, his name is Jim.
Oh, I don't know that dude.
He's a huge guy. You couldn't miss him. He's like the tallest guy in Sioux Falls.
I know.
I'm not even kidding, dude. He's
Right.
like 7 foot.
I don't know your friend, Jim.
Anyways,
I don't-
hey,
I don't remember.
that's his favorite movie as well. It's just funny because we're quoting it the whole time. He talks like Andre the Giant.
Wow.
am the Brute Squad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a couple of people that really like it.
We all grew up to that
They dig
movie,
on that,
just,
you
you
know
know.
what I mean?
It hit a sweet spot in our hearts, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I had a movie that was like that when I was growing up, it was Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
What?
The fucking first one with Christy
Wait,
Swanson.
Christy Swanson?
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I watched that movie like a gillion times.
Wow. Well, you didn't watch anything like The Neverending Story or Legend or any of that kind of stuff?
Not really. I didn't own Neverending Story. I didn't have that one. I mean, I watched it once and I thought
The
it was
Legend
kinda
with
trippy.
Tom Cruise, nothing there.
The Legend.
Yeah, it's got Tim Curry and Tom Cruise in it. He's like just like a farmhand, and he has to basically take on Satan.
Really?
Yeah, you've never seen that movie?
The Legend?
Yeah, it's got Tim Curry in it. You know who he is, right?
I'm trying. No, I can't place it.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. The transvestite in it.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
that's Tim Curry. He's also
This chick told me I looked like that dude once.
He's the butler in Clue.
Is it Dr. Frankenfooter? Is that what you're talking about? Or something like that? Or whatever the fuck his name is? I honestly didn't ever get into the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I didn't really either, but I just know he's like he's the main character in that movie.
It's okay, Frank. You can tell me. You dress up. You go.
Yeah.
You go
I like
to
women's
movies.
clothes.
Yeah.
I think my old lady would notice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, we watched. I watched Gummy Bears. Like the old Gummy Bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
It's so weird. It's like Care Bears. It's like, nah, I don't go that far back. Even Barney just gives me the creeps sometimes when I watch it. It's like, God,
Barney?
who watches this shit?
I didn't even like Barney when I was a kid. I was like, well, I think Barney came out when I was older. That's
It was a little older, yeah. It was like we were teenagers and all the kids were watching Barney.
Barney's awful.
it's
What an annoying
a
voice.
shitty Sesame Street. That's what it is, man. Let's call it what it is.
It's not good. is
Sesame
what it
Street
is.
was at least educational, and it taught you a little bit about social hierarchy. It's got Oscar the Grouch and then Big Bird.
Taught you a little bit about social classes, social mobility. I don't know. It was. I mean, it's fairly wholesome, progressive. You know,
Yeah.
everyone's like a different race, and
And they all get along. They all have different accents. They talk differently. Bert and Ernie, the Count.
It's fine. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with Sesame Street. I'm cool.
Right.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, same here. I still let my kids watch it.
I'm not like,
But I don't let them watch
fuck
Barney.
Goddamn liberals. You know, when the day rolls around when Sesame Street just gets super overt, like about like liberal policies and stuff, like remind mommy and daddy to vote against Proposition 8 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever's up on
Like
the
get
ballot.
really like start like programming them, you know, like that would be.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever gonna get that bad.
You don't think so? Hopefully.
Hopefully not. Hopefully
God,
not.
hopefully not. Let's certainly hope not. So, did you listen to any good music this week? I'm gonna grab another beer. Do you want a beer? Brewski? Right.
Oh, I'll take one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan, you need one?
I don't know, you talking
right now.
metal or what are you talking, man?
I don't know. What have you been listening to this week?
I heard the Devon Townshend project, and I was really impressed with that. Just pure progressiveness and so musical. It's not just heavy. I've listened to a lot of just straight death metal, and then to hear something kind of melodic kind of hits the spot sometimes, you know? It's more focused on melodic. I mean, it's still heavy. It doesn't drop the heaviness, but it's got like crazy melody moments, like kind of an Opeth type deal. I guess
Opeth.
is the closest rendition I could put. But Opeth is obviously it's gentleman's metal. So it's
It's I mean, Opeth is really like mathy.
No,
You know, like map shit, right?
not at all. I would.
Map
They're like
metal?
Pink Floyd meets Cannibal Corpse and Cradle of Filth.
But
It's
don't,
kinda
don't
this
they have
weird
like 10,
mix.
11-minute songs like Opeth?
Traditionally they did. Traditionally they had a lot of long songs, but I wouldn't call them mappy.
Well, they
because
call
there's a lot of
map
repeating.
metal because like you need a map to get through the shit. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. It's not like that. No, Opeth is much more catchy than you think. I mean, it's
I haven't heard a lot.
They
I know a lot of
really-
people like them though.
Opeth's amazing. I can't explain like the chord choices they make and the melodic choices they make, and they're singing mixed with the screaming. Obviously, like when they're screaming, it's
That's not the
fucking
one with the
death
chick
metal.
singer.
No, dude,
No,
it's
that's
one guy
who is that? That sounds like Opeth.
with the chick singer.
Yeah, there's another one that sounds like that. I can't
never
think of
heard
it.
any bands
No,
that
they
sound like Opeth like that.
No, that's cool. Arch Enemy is a chick singer.
Arch Enemy does have a chick singer, yes, but they're more of that death clock sound, like melodic death metal.
Yeah, they are. They have the guitar player from Carcass. And they're so.
Oh
fucking
yeah,
great.
dude. Yeah.
Fucking Arch Enemy is great, man.
I like Arch Enemy. They're
Energetic,
amazing.
fucking like straightforward, charging, like
Yeah, I
driving
mean, it's
music.
the chick's vocals. I think people give her more credit, you know, because she's a chick and she's obviously you can't even tell. You can't even tell. If
No,
you were to,
fuck no.
You were to step back and be like, what? First time I heard it, I was like, that's a fucking chick. No fucking way.
Yeah, and you see her. I mean, she looks scary as fuck, dude. She's big.
Problem is
Big,
now
tall
it's like
Viking.
fad. Yeah, now it's like there's all these metal bands that are picking up chicks just to kind of get out there.
Just because it's, yeah, a
It's
gimmick.
kind of like a fad
a
now.
gimmick,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
As
Like,
opposed to just it was cool to have a chick who actually cared about
I'll
the
admit
music.
it. You know, I'll admit it. I like it when bands have chicks in them. You know what I mean? Because typically they're hot, and like it's just it adds a different dimension to it. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's
But
like,
yeah, but
it's not,
how many female voices can you hear sing soprano?
I'm not
I mean,
saying just like I'm not saying
Even if
vocals.
a band.
No, I'm saying band members like bass players.
Oh, bass players and like keyboardists and stuff
Right,
like that.
yeah.
I'm
I mean,
totally
like-
okay with that kind of stuff. I just think that, like front women
the front
are a
person.
fad, man. There's just
Yeah,
too many of them
I
are being saturated in there to where they're taken away from the musicality. I'm not saying that the women are untalented. That's not what I'm
Right,
saying. I'm just
no.
saying like they're obviously
You think
riding
they're, you
the
think they're
wave.
limited because of their vocal range?
I just think that it gets predictable.
Yeah.
And that the originality can get stifled a little bit by.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I mean, Arch Enemy.
Oh,
I mean, what do you see?
Nightwish.
Never heard of them.
Laguna Coil.
What was that band?
There's quite a few.
What was that band from Sioux Falls that had chicks singing?
OTEP.
OTEP. That's what I was talking about. Opeth. OTEP.
Oh, they don't
Yeah.
sound anything like Opeth.
No,
the name sounds
name,
like
that's
it.
what I was
The
referring
name
to,
sounds like
the
it.
name,
Yeah. There's
O-
OTEP.
yeah,
The
OTEP.
Agonist.
Never heard of it.
There's a bunch of them. I
I've
can't.
heard of OTEP.
Walls
what
of
was
Jericho.
What was the one from Sioux Falls that had the chick singing?
The newer one.
They were originally Lives for the Masters, and then they turned into.
Oh.
What did they turn into?
Oh, I don't
I
remember.
think they're still going under that name. They're like operating as a cover band.
I don't know.
They covered Maiden.
There's a lot of cover bands though.
Oh man,
Unfortunately.
we got it. All right. Well, it doesn't matter. We'll let them remain nameless.
Yeah.
Since they're
unfortunately.
nameless, dude. Well, since they're nameless, it's funny because, like, they were posting looking for a guitar player. I went over to their house and auditioned to play guitar for them. And like she couldn't sing very well at all. Like she was extremely pitchy, like singing like very very flat quite a bit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the drums. I mean, the guy seemed like a hell of a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean that's
And
the problem.
He
It's
seemed
hard
like
to
a hell
be
of a nice
nice.
guy. Yeah, he was a nice guy, but
To
he
be
wasn't.
honest with
He
some of
wasn't.
these
Yeah,
people.
to be honest, and to say, you know what I mean. Well, in my mind, I mean, I was just like the drums are
Gotta sing in
weak.
key.
But yeah,
and you
gotta
play in rhythm.
Yeah. but I mean, like the drums weren't
kind
that
of
strong.
start.
He gets the job done, to some extent. But I mean, like it was ultimately you could tell he was very limited on drums, and
Sure.
and she was not good at vocals really at all, and we're just having problems that night or whatever. I've never heard her do well. Anyway, so I brought that to their attention. I was like, actually, what I did is
People get so
actually no, I
offended,
didn't even
but-
say that. What I said was I said I have a friend that plays guitar and does vocals very well. What would you think about him being the lead vocalist and you could do some backups and play keys and I'll play guitar and he plays drums. and like she got really fucking pissed when I even suggested it. She straight up told me, in which
Well, it's good
I
that
can
you
respect.
were at least honest. I mean, that gets that problem out so later in the band relationship.
I think
There
I
aren't
think
those
that
discrepancies.
she was
you
so
know?
defensive about wanting to be the lead singer of the band that she wasn't really able to
And her husband's the drummer, right?
she wasn't able to self-evaluate enough to say, well, maybe I do have some pitch issues, or maybe you know what I mean, like
Maybe it could use a little work, and that's
Yeah.
you know that's the tough thing about like the local scene in general.
I didn't even
Is
bring
it-
it up to her that she had pitch issues. I just
is
suggested
having
that we
that.
brought in another.
And it's
singer.
not that I don't want to be an asshole to some people,
Right.
But it's kind of there are basic things that need to be addressed,
Yeah.
and I mean we're guilty of it too. I mean like I love Jarrell's vocals for our band.
Yeah.
I love his screams, and he can sing, but mixing the screams and the sings affects his singing like heavily.
Oh, sure.
Heavily. It just basically hinders him to hitting those notes.
Mm.
So a lot of times live, we prefer to do just a screaming set so he doesn't have those
Yep.
problems. And
Yep.
he's the voice of the band, and that's how it is in all
But why
bands.
why
to
don't
where you have to kind
why
of think
don't
about that. You have to take that into consideration.
why don't
You know, if you can't do it well, you probably shouldn't be doing it. You should practice it. Make sure you get it down. Make sure you're ready to do it, and then you do it.
Yep, absolutely.
Live.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. And
The training is important. Like I didn't fucking just pick up the guitar and go out there and start
Yep.
picking notes and like this is my lead over the top of this.
Yeah. in that situation,
A little
when
bit of
you-
music theory
when you
is
run into
necessary.
that, when you run into that, where did you ever? I mean, I'm sure it occurred to you guys to have one of you do vocals and one of the other guys step up. Can anyone else sing?
I can sing in pitch, but the problem is that I cannot sing and play guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot do both.
What about Chris? He wouldn't be able to do it.
Chris? Couldn't do it. He's got perfect pitch. He can sing bass tones really well, but his voice is so deep that it would be very difficult for him to sing.
Just sing the parts that
Sing the
Jarrell has.
lines, yeah, sing the
okay.
lines, and we just don't. I don't believe in backup vocals.
What?
I just don't really believe in them, man.
That's-
I don't think that they're
that's not-
necessary at all.
See now
Not
that's
in our music.
I'm demonstrating right now exactly why it's necessary. It's because you know what I mean. If your vocalist is limited in that capacity to cover those parts, maybe he can still write and write really good stuff. But until he's able to perform it live, at least
We really
someone
don't
else
have
should step up and
anybody.
be able to do that.
We really don't
That's
have
what, at
anybody
least
to
that's
do
what I was
that.
doing in Collapse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you were doing in
Yeah,
Collapse.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because you had Tony, and that you guys were kind of that metalcore sound,
Right.
and really like there was
You really
there
need
was,
some
there was an
singing in that.
expectation of singing.
Right.
There was an expectation of singing.
Right.
In our band, there isn't,
Yeah.
and that's kind of
That makes sense.
that's why we prefer to just do the heavy stuff. And I've always thought like what you're really good at, you should stick to that.
Sure.
Until you get good enough at the other things to
Well,
incorporate
before
them.
you're gonna go showcasing it live. with
Exactly.
other
That's
people.
my point. That's my
Yeah.
point. And
Or-
yeah. At this point, the singing is not like a priority for us.
Right.
And that we are all getting darker and heavier, and it's getting more complex. And with the complexity, that limits the singing completely. You have to have that in mind when you're writing. That this has to have melody to it. This has to have room for singing vocals. That is a thing that is a conscious decision. And
I get that. With the kind of music I play, though, it's kind of hand in hand.
Well, yeah. Of course, with your type of music, it is obviously, they complement each other. The singing is meant to be over the chords. You know what I mean? But if I were to play like something highly progressive or highly atonal or chromatic, there's really nothing to sing over it. You know what I mean?
No, right. You're absolutely right.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's like you don't sing over death metal.
Right. Well, I mean,
Because
you
a lot of
can,
it's-
you can, but a lot of it's so nasty. The notes are so nasty.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I mean they're
it's
so sour
it's so dissonant
and,
that there's
yeah,
nothing to
exactly.
there's nothing to match a melody to.
There's no melody to really harmonize
Right.
over the top of it. And
Yeah, I
that's-
guess the danger that you would run into there, at least for me anyway, is that like if I'm trying to consciously make the decision to incorporate melody, which has never been a problem of mine. I can't get fucking far enough away from it. I want to get away from melody and harmonies for a while and just get dirty
but
with
you'll
the
start
shit.
writing and boom, just melody comes out.
But the thing that I tend to do is to simplify things when I run into that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can still keep things busy. It's such a weird thing, man, playing music in the way that everyone approaches it so uniquely.
Yeah.
And I really wish that I don't know.
Yeah, and I just don't want to fall into that melodic trap to where it's an expectation for us to sing every chorus, where it's an expectation for us to have singing in all of our songs.
Yeah.
I don't want to run into that. Like, if we want to sing, we will sing. If we don't want to sing, I don't want to feel like it needs to be in a song.
I just wish.
Well,
I always say
you're
this, but I
right.
wish we had a bigger scene of people. You know what I mean?
It is.
Like,
If we had a larger pool of people, it would definitely be
so
more.
nice.
Yeah, there would be
Just a
more
little
there,
bit.
and
No,
people
just a
would
little-
kind of understand where they sit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm held to like some sort of high regard as a guitar player in town,
I
but-
think you know you are.
but I'm not that good.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to the big cities. Like, I played with bands like
Right,
Pagan's
right.
Mind and in the cities, and you
Sure,
walk in there and
sure.
you're like,
Sure.
there's a bunch of guitar players
Right.
who are all either equal to you
Or
vastly
vastly yeah.
fucking better.
Vastly superior.
like,
Exactly.
like you're watching these guys and you're like,
Yeah.
holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
And then you go talk to him and he's played like 3 or 4 years less than you do, and you're like,
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
what was I doing where this guy totally just surpassed me? You know,
Yeah.
he's got techniques that I couldn't even touch at that time.
Where was that at in the cities?
We played at Station 4 and we played at a power metal
nice.
show.
Flush
And-
tape?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we opened for Pagan's Mind, and there was like 12 bands, and out of the 12, 6 out of the 12 all had great guitar players. And there was a band called Avion, where there was a guy playing a 7-string, and he was singing power metal, playing crazy ass shit.
Power metal.
Yeah, it was like fucking
that's
crazy
a
ass
metal
sweep
band.
tapping and 4 fingers, on each side, and like the piano parts and all that. And I was like, oh, I was just blown away by this guy.
Mm.
He was playing a long time though, because when I talked to the guy, he was playing for like
What was the name of that band?
Avion. He was playing
Avion
for like
Sunrise.
he was like 40 years old almost. He was like 30 something.
Yeah.
So he's been playing for like 20 years. I won't be playing for 12. So I didn't feel so bad when I talked to him. I was like, okay, yeah, you've got some under your belt.
Yeah, yeah.
But
that's
I
silly.
mean, like when you look around in town, I mean, like
Thompson's pretty freaky.
Thompson is obviously very freaky. Unfortunately, he
Thompson's
can't
pretty
keep
freaky.
band members with him, so he doesn't get out there.
It's an interesting balance that you need to have, isn't it?
Yeah, you need to have people around you, because if you're not out there playing, then you're just wasting the talent that you've developed. And
Yeah.
he's honed a shitload of it.
I know.
And nobody gets to hear it, unfortunately.
Yeah, for whatever
It's sad.
reason,
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're talking about local freaks, we've ran the list before. We did it before. I mean,
Yeah, well, I wasn't here. It was you and
Michael
Jake.
Larson. Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was you and Jake running the list.
Okay, yeah.
But
Yeah,
I haven't heard
Larson.
Michael Larson, but he's another one who's not in a band, who's not playing
Right.
now.
Well, he's going
and
to
it's,
school.
it's
Yeah.
unfortunate, that he's if he's the freak that you guys are all saying, he
Yeah.
can go to school and play music too, and get out there.
Yeah,
like
and
all of us
still-
have. I have kids,
Yep,
I have family, I have full time.
He'll probably do a project or something. I mean, for a while, like after Collapse disbanded, like he was jamming with Seth and Tony Brown. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, Tony's
And
in
they
Still
picked
I
up-
Rise now, so
Yeah.
I don't know how busy he is, but he's probably fairly busy. Probably like the rest of us, works a job in the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
But yeah, I would. I'd be very interested to hear what that. You know what I mean? What that guy could do if he were just like if he pushed himself, because he does a lot of. I don't know, a lot of cool scales and shit. Like I don't know what study. You know what I mean? What form of. You know what I mean? Like shit that he was playing, but wherever he studied it, I like it. You know what I mean? Like I'm into like the results, or at least whatever you're able to do with it. I'm guessing like super proggy shit. I think he did. He entered some competition to do a solo for Iced Earth.
Oh, it's awesome.
Or something like that. I
awesome.
want to say it was Iced Earth. I'm not sure, but I mean, like he won it or something. Like he won, like to improv a solo for him. Like he won something. He got like a T-shirt or something.
Damn, man.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
easy
Like
to get in
it's
there.
it's something like that. But yeah, I mean,
I've never even heard of those competitions. I would
Yeah.
love to try some.
Right.
I've done the King of the Blues 3 years
Did
in a
you?
row.
I thought
and
about
I
doing
always
it. Man.
lose.
I
I
thought
always
about
lose.
doing it. I think I'm gonna do it. When do they do that? Next one. I'm gonna
They
do
do
it.
it. They do it every year, once a year at least.
I'm so like I've got my little my little
Yeah. Really, all you need is your pentatonic scale, and then build some licks over the top of. They give you tracks that you can play over.
Right.
And that's how it goes.
I mean, like for me, I got really comfortable in E for the blues. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just,
Eddie
and I can always hit that B7 on the turnaround, make it sound funky, and then hit the A7, hit the E7, do a little
Yeah.
riff. I got really comfortable in doing blues in E.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's E minor, and A minor are really the two that are like, blues are pretty natural. I personally feel the most comfortable in B minor, but it's so rare that you're going to find a track already on there that has B minor in it.
Have you ever heard Evergreen Terrace?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Did
They're
you
kind of
hear-
like the Devil Wears Prada and in that kind of like deathcore sound, aren't they?
No, well, not really. I mean, like they're pretty much straightforward, like hardcore band, very akin to Poison the Well.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I know where I've heard them then. Yeah.
They put out this album that was pretty good that I heard once. It was either called Eulogy or it might be called Eulogy.
Yeah.
But then there's the second track on there is like, No Donnie, These Men Are Nihilists. That's the name of the song. That song's
Get
awesome,
your name
dude.
in it.
That sounds pretty fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
One band I wish I had a lot more of that I don't have is Evergreen Terrace. Also Carcass. I wish I had.
Carcass is like old school melodic death metal. It's one of the
love
first
that
ones
shit,
that
man.
brought it up. Them and like Death and fucking At the Gates.
At the Gates, absolutely.
Those are the bands that really like
Carcass.
paved the way for death metal to be melodic.
Yeah, I just remember this kid that used to live in Sioux Falls. He had this big, he had a denim coat and he had a big Carcass patch on the back of the denim coat. You know what I mean?
Right, dude.
I was like, that's a fucking.
That's awesome, dude. That's
Yeah.
the old school metal heads, the tight jeans and the jean jackets that have the patches all over them, dude. Oh yeah, they looked a lot like the punk guys, only with long ass hair.
Well, they were like they crossbred and cross-pollinated and shit. Like that was back when I was actually going to bars. I'm still like transitioning to my life now. Like I used to go to the bars all the time.
Yeah.
All the fucking time I'd go to the Top
I don't
Hat.
go at all.
All the fucking time I'd go there and like there's all these fucking scene kids and shit. And I mean I was still playing shows back then at Phil's Pub and shit. And you know what I mean? I did that all the time. I lived right by it. I lived between Sid's Liquor and fucking. And Top Hat. The building's not even there anymore. Now it's a chiropractic clinic. But it used to be a health food store. I lived there.
Nice.
Right in between there, and I worked at Sid's and I worked at Minerva's, and I fucking practically lived at the fucking bar like all the time. I was fucking there. You know what I mean? I just don't do that shit anymore. I rarely will go out. Like I'll go out every once in a while. And even when I do, I stay away from the fucking hipster bars. I don't even want to fucking go into them.
I can't really go to the bars because I'm not a people person. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of time before I said something that offends somebody. And I'm like $140. I don't need to be in a bar fight.
I suppose, man.
It's no bueno. But
No, I don't know. If I go out, like I'll go, like, I like to go check out shows like at Latitude or.
Yeah. Like I would love to get out and check out more shows. I just
Yeah.
with the
When I
kids.
go
and all
out,
that,
to the bar, that's kind of
it's
what
tough.
I'm doing. I'm there to watch the show, you know what I mean, or whatever. Or, meet up with some friends and.
Sure.
Oh shit! Is that for me?
No, that's a James Bond dog.
Yeah, dude, really like it. So I'm just kind of going through this list of stuff that I wish I had more of. Demu, how do you pronounce Demu Bonjour?
I don't know
Bougier.
exactly how it's pronounced. I assume that's how it's pronounced. They're pretty badass though. Another one of those European melodic death metal bands.
I watched a DVD of them playing, and it was the silliest shit I've ever seen. But their music is so legit. Like the drums are really
They have
crazy.
this Kiss-like look, but they're obviously much heavier.
Well, they're all about Satan.
Oh yeah,
It's
black
like
metal
the
dog.
whole folk, black metal dog. Yeah, it's all about Satan. Like, it's funny. Like, I looked into Satanism and I was like,
Like
looking at it, like
and-
just studying it and stuff, and like, and
a bunch of them.
but the thing is, like, to be satanic, like with these guys, like, I don't understand the logic behind, like, well, first of all, I'm an atheist, so like, I don't really.
Or agnostic.
Well, no, not an atheist. I'm sorry, an agnostic. That's what I am. You know what I mean? I was actually just watching this awesome documentary on the multiverse yesterday.
Oh,
you know
it's
what
so
I mean?
amazing.
It is.
Multiverse.
It's just so intriguing.
cool.
It's awesome, and our fractal universe is great. And like, but I mean, it's so you look at the studies on the multiverse or whatever, and then you look at religion, and like religion just looks like this child's book. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it
you
really
know what I mean?
is,
Compared to
like,
the real theories that are out there with
it's
shit. You know what I mean?
It's kind of layman's terms for an explanation. It feels
It's
pretty
not even
shallow.
layman's term. It just seems like sci-fi.
It feels
just
pretty
seems,
shallow,
it feels like a kid's book, like a like a
See,
Dr.
that's
Seuss
why
book.
I think I believe more in like the ancient astronaut theory when it comes to like religion and how all that kind of went down.
Well, it's certainly more interesting. Anyway,
It certainly makes more sense
it would
to
certainly
me.
be
as
funner
opposed
to go to
some
church
random
if you're
person.
worshiping an alien. That would be fucking for
You
sure.
know, like that. What would the people
Go
think
worship
back in
a
those
fucking
days, man?
go
That's
worship
exactly
a
what they
fucking
think.
a Nephilim or whatever. You know what I mean?
They even called them that. They called
Yeah.
the half breeds that were
Yeah.
half human and half
go worship
alien
the
or
go worship the
godlike.
Nephilim. You know what I mean? The first Nephilim, go worship them. You know what I mean? What were they? The Anunnaki? Is that what the bigger ones were? Yeah.
Yep.
like an Anunnaki, you know, that'd be some trippy shit. But it would just be normal because we grew up like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I even thought about that when I was a little kid. I was like, everything seems so constructed in such a specific way and put out there that we could change any of these details, and like, you know what I mean? And that kind of relates back to that multiverse, because there's all these different dimensionings that are happening.
Yeah, have you seen like
just slight deviations? So the more that we
theory.
Oh yeah,
it's the multiverse. It's the same.
I mean, the more that you expand into infinity with different possibilities, then they show up. So it's like we're eventually, it's just like zooming in on that fractal. You get way out there, or zooming out, and eventually you arrive right back where you were. Only there's a slight
a small detail is different.
Deviation in there.
Yeah, that's all it takes is one little thing.
So
like,
I just want to say,
cap could be 3 inches over.
So I just want to say hello to myself in the multiverse right now, because if all time is occurring at once, right now I'm sitting watching this, reviewing it, or editing it, and watching it. So what's up, dude? What's up to the other? What's up to the other multiverse? What's up, multiverse Frank? What's up, multiverse Jordan?
True time travel.
Yeah, that's it. I just did it right now, right?
Crazy.
Now I did. All right. It's that illusion.
See, what really fucks with time travel and the theory of time travel like that is deja vu.
Why is that?
How do you know that's not something you haven't already experienced?
Well, the thing is that like you probably did, or you know what I mean, like the way that you conceive of time, like you know what I mean, like the way that like we watch the clock go around and everything like that. Like once you throw that idea out and you realize that time is much more like a loaf of bread, and that we exist within time. You know what I mean? We go through moment to moment like these snapshots. Second to second, we incrementally inch forward, but everything still exists there. You know what I mean? It's just like that the possibilities change within that loaf of bread based on our decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, from there.
And then you can also think about like there's different loaves of bread.
Yeah. Think so?
Well, of course. Because eventually it's got to get to that point.
Well, wouldn't that be the multiverse then? If like
that's
time,
the multiverse is like
just like all the
eventually it separates into infinite amount of loaves of bread.
Infinite loaves of bread, and we're just existing within.
Where time is a direction.
Yeah. Well, what's it all for, Frank? I appeal to you.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Frank doesn't know. Jordan, do you know?
Well, I don't know. I've had these dreams for years.
Wrong.
Like,
the answer is 42. No, I'm sorry. All right. Sorry, go ahead. You had these dreams?
For years I've had these dreams where I would predict the future and then it would actually come true.
Really?
I've had those. That's crazy
like
shit.
What? Like to what extent?
Well, I mean, I would dream about something and then
it would happen.
Then it would happen. I'm like,
and then you get that feeling of deja vu.
Deja vu
when it
is
happens, like when you're sleeping, if you're not connected to the multiverse and you can see the future.
What? Say that
Possible.
again. Wait.
While you're sleeping,
you're
connected to the multiverse in some sort of like third eye paradigm, in which case you could see the future. And not even know
but it wouldn't be your future then, right?
It could be your future, it could be your past.
It would not be like a whole situation.
It would just
like
be one of the thousands of or infinite possibilities that could happen. And somehow, you caught one that's in your timeline.
Somehow sleeping is mysterious, I think. It holds a lot of...
It's extremely mysterious.
Especially
dreaming. Dreams are mysterious in itself.
Especially dreaming, yeah.
A lot of people, it's mysterious because you don't know what you're experiencing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You only get these remnants of, when you wake up, and it quickly evaporates, you know what I mean? Like your brain quickly... Your brain quickly blocks it out. They say that your brain blocks it out. Like
sometimes.
It blocks it out. Like, well, I'm saying that's why
also a lot of that is because of sleep deprivation. Like people just don't know the science of sleep.
Well, what I'm saying is that what I've heard is that when you first wake up, the reason why you can remember your dream more accurately and more vividly than like an hour after you wake up and you try and recall it is because your conscious brain is basically still in that struggle with your subconscious brain when you're waking up. So like it's cleaning everything out. So it's like, okay, all this shit is gone. You know what I mean? Like it's gone. And so like you try and hold on to it, but it always slips away, like your dreams. So you can never really remember your dreams entirely. Like obviously, there are ones that get through, but I mean, like for the most part, it's almost like you're kind of reconstructing them with your conscious mind.
That is true until you actually see something that is there. Like, holy shit, I've seen this place before.
Yep. So you're sitting there and you're like, I have done this before. Where have I done this before?
Right.
But you know it's like a new place.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Never been here before,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
To me, like, just the whole phenomenon of time and the way that we experience it just blows my fucking mind.
And
Because
perspective on it, that's really what gets it.
I've done this deal so many times where I'm, drunk or high and I'm walking home, I'm walking home by myself and I'm like, okay, I'm going to hold on to this moment right now. And I just stand there. All right, here we go. And now, a second later, I'm 2 blocks away and I'm like, God, what happened to my moment? I was just holding on to it.
Dude, you're high.
Right, yeah, high. Look at my hands.
You ever seen a $1 bill on weed?
They call yeah, exactly. They call them fingers, but I never see them fing. Oh, there they go. Just fucking high, fucking just idiot.
Yeah, when you're high, dude.
But anyway, relating all this back to the stuff I was looking into is Satanism.
Okay.
Mostly, I was bored YouTubing shit and like just being entertained silly by these people like going on Jerry Springer. Like it was the dude who started Anton LaVey's daughter. She's kind of hot and like weird looking. She's like that really trashy awful way. Have you seen her? She's blonde.
No idea what you're talking about.
She fucking Anton LaVey or Stanton Anton LaVey, some shit like that. He's the one who wrote the Luciferian Bible.
Okay.
And started the like first Church of Satan or whatever.
One man
out in
writes
San Francisco. Yeah, he wrote it. Like it's in like most of it's like.
Hey, at least the Christians collaborated.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I think because if you go to Facebook, because I friended God and Satan or whatever, and like like the Satan page was so funny. Like the updates that he would put in there, like it would be like misspelled, like soon my minions it comes, and like
it's misspelled.
It would be like misspelled, and like there'd be like 200 comments there from people like you stupid fuck. Why don't you learn how to spell, you dumbass deity or some shit like that. Like, all the trolls and shit, and then like all the people like against the trolls that are on there, they're like. Get the fuck out of here, you stupid fucking troll. Yeah. Lucifer's gonna ram a cock up your Christian ass, and there's all this like crazy like verbal.
It's supposed to be like self-empowerment.
Crazy verbal war. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like
Satanism's supposed to.
They're like Satan's not even about Satan, or you know what I mean.
It's about
like
being selfish.
It's about being yourself. Yeah, yep, exactly. So it sounds like you've done a little.
I know quite a bit about religion in general, but the whole Christian thing, I think it's hilarious when you talk to. I saw an interview with Alice Cooper, and he was talking about how he goes to these nations, these European nations where they have, like black metal bands,
right?
Real Satanists, and they meet him in the mall, and they're like, "Hi, Alice! Oh my God, you want to meet my mom?" It's like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm a Satanist." It's like these guys are not actually crazy Satanists. It's more of a show.
Right.
9 times out of 10, it's a real show, and really all it is in those countries. They didn't have Christianity. It was all forced upon them. So when they're growing up, they take away their Nordic religion. They take away any remnants of their actual, foundation.
Yeah, the documentaries.
Traditions.
The documentaries that I've seen on black metal and the church burnings have all been, they've all pretty well sung the same song when they say, it's because of the way that Christianity rolled in and forced itself on us is the reason why we have that aggression.
And they act that way more as in front of Christians.
It's a reaction. It's more of a reaction than it is like a movement by itself. It's a reaction to that, and that makes sense to me. But in order for you to be a Satanist would require one to believe in Satan. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you believe in Satan, you believe in God.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, and if you believe in God, then you're buying into. If you're anti-Christian,
you're buying into the same thing.
You're buying. Yeah, exactly. It's
buying into the same gods, the same demigods, whatever you want to call them. You're buying into the whole story.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're giving yourself way more credit than it's worth, and like just the fact that you. I
look at it like the Greek religion. It's a nice collection of stories. They could be interesting. Some that are obviously
like the Bible.
Morally right, and some that are fucking morally fucked up. But it's still.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stories in there and stuff.
There's a lot of bad stories too.
Tons of bad stories. Deuteronomy in particular is just brutal as fuck, man. Just stone your kids for sassing. Like crazy shit.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous.
But it's crazy that there are so many good people.
Well,
Genuinely good people. That Well, I don't know any genuinely good people that are Satanists, but I don't really know any Satanists, so
They're definitely a smaller sect.
yeah. So I don't know. I can't speak on that. But personally, I can say that I met lots of really good-hearted people that were Christians, and it always fascinated me that they would, you know what I mean, give such, you know, attachment to this, you know, like this thing that doesn't make any sense to me. You know,
they're not that sure about, but they pretend that they are. And
no,
that's
I don't know that though. You know what I mean? Like just as an example.
You know, anybody else who was thinking they were talking to people, you know, while they're half asleep, half awake in their bed, and you know, like they're called insane, Don.
Well, here's the reality.
It's called dementia.
here's the reality, Frank, is that there are people that are vastly smarter than you and I, and that they will subscribe to that religion. You know what I mean?
You know, there's different kinds of smarts though. There's just because they're book smart doesn't necessarily mean that their common sense is.
As an example, like as you know what I mean. I'm just gonna throw it out. Mike Dresch, highly religious guy.
Absolutely.
Extremely talented and well accomplished individual through his hard work.
But do you think that Mike is to the point where he would absolutely shun any possibility of any other explanation?
Do I think he would shun it?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Do you think he would shun it?
You know, it's tough to say. I mean, like
I don't think he would.
I don't know that.
I don't think he would. I think he would be accepting of those kinds of things because he's a smart individual and he's a very obviously.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like this,
he's the type that looks
nice
for
dude.
real answers.
I've known him for a
Real
fucking long ass time. You know what I mean? Like,
I've only met him once, but from what I met, he was a super nice guy. He was super open to ideas and to discussions, and he wasn't your typical Christian that would automatically be like, "No, God said so." You know what I mean? He would actually give reasons.
Well, I mean, it's his belief, though. I mean, like he's very clear about that through his.
He understands the difference between belief and fact. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like
but I'm saying
it's still up in the air.
What if he believes those are facts? That's what I'm saying. He believes those are facts. Like he thinks.
There is parts of it that could be considered facts.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, that's what agnostic means. It's like I believe there's something.
But there's also parts of it that don't make a whole lot of sense.
This is more specific, dude. This is like
strong foundation.
I don't know, Mike.
My question is just
my
question is just questioning
Jesus, like Jesus Christ, pictures of angels and shit. Like his cover picture was like angels, and I'm like, you know, the fact that you know we're in this modern society and people still believe in angels is crazy to me. But fuck, man, angels could be just as realistic as the Anunnaki for all I know. I mean, like it's you know, it's to me everything kind of levels out at an even like keel. You know, when you start throwing in some science and stuff, like that lends more credibility to me than, you know, like anything
Of course,
else.
they found it, but I mean, science is still constantly changing. Science is a work in progress, man. Think about it. For a long time, the scientists back in the day all thought the world was flat.
Yeah, well,
it's not fucking flat.
yeah.
So they thought we were the center of the universe. We're not. We're rotating around the sun. It's the
But
center
the
of
technology at that time
just
when they thought the world was flat is so
That's
dwarfed by what we have now.
Very true.
You know.
Very true, but you know that doesn't mean that everything's explained. Like
No,
black
no.
holes, we don't understand them. We have no idea where they go. We have no idea what happens when a black hole happens. We assume that it just implodes on itself.
Well, because we're not able to really travel through space or you know what I mean, exceed light.
Well, how would you even test something
without being able to exceed the speed of light? There's no way that there's no way that we're going to be able to do any interstellar travel. But what I'm saying is that even if you were to do that interstellar travel, you know, I mean, go to different fucking galaxies. I mean, like.
True.
Yeah, like.
What,
that would be some fucking crazy.
What I'm just
shit,
saying is
we
that there's
don't
always stuff
we don't get far
that
at all
gets
like
changed. Theories that have holes in them. That the holes need answers still. That they're still searching for answers to the holes. You know.
Right.
And that's in science. In religion, it's like they take it as whatever was written is it.
That is it. That
you
is
know,
it.
and that's where I don't see that. I don't see that. Yeah, there's no updating. There's no amendments there.
Oh shit! Did I say Jesus? No. Peter. Peter was the guy.
Paul was the guy.
No. Paul. Paul was the guy. Never mind. Paul. Everyone stop. Everyone stop. Let's do Paul.
Yeah.
We're doing Paul now. It's not Jesus.
I'm just saying, like,
did you get the memo?
Things change. You know, like same with our Constitution. It was, things are going to change. Things did change.
What if it was Randy Christ? And we all worshipped Randy Christ.
That'd be crazy.
Oh, Randy.
But the moment you say Randy, I'm automatically thinking of Randy Blythe.
Right, so. Randy Christ. I think it's, you know, or like Randy's brother, I don't know. Stephen Christ.
Chuck.
I feel Randy.
Chuck Christ,
He's
dude,
been
there was a Chuck
That's a
Christ.
man's name right there.
Chuck Christ. I don't know, man. Chuck Christ sounds like a fucking
Like you're gonna throw in?
like Chuck Christ. It sounds like I gotta get a pound of the Chuck Christ and some provolone. You're at the deli or something.
Ordered shit.
So, yeah, I don't know. Chuck Christ. I'm into Randy Christ. I like it.
What about Vinny Christ?
Vinny Christ. I don't like it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I'm trying.
Vinny
I'm
Christ. Epic.
trying to think of man names.
I'm trying to think of redneck names for some reason. Bubba Christ. What do
Bubba
we-
Christ.
We all worship Bubba Christ.
Bubba.
Bubba. Our Lord and
Bubba
Savior
Tree.
Bubba. What if that happened?
Country.
I don't know.
I
I'm just saying it could be, like
Mama
nobody
said,
knows.
Mama said,
Who was
Mama
around,
said,
like all the
Mama
records
said.
do, yeah. All the records about Christ all don't really point to an actual person because they weren't actually people who were alive when he was alive. So
Get a counter on there.
it's all kind of
I'm telling
hearsay.
you, Peter and Paul were disciples.
Peter and Paul.
And Mary.
But that's the thing, is like the historians that recorded Jesus Christ live,
Well, here's the.
the credible,
Yeah,
my
well,
credible
But they
ones,
weren't even around.
they weren't even around during that time. No, they were all. This is all like,
yeah.
it's all game telephone. Up to
Right,
that
which
point.
is even more sketch. You know what I mean?
Which
Like-
makes you wonder,
Oh,
and it was obviously written by men. It was written half between religious people and half between Romans.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's it's a very individual thing. I think when confronted with what we know about the universe, and like I said, because we're limited, because of that, we're not able to travel. You know what I mean, through the universe and stuff.
we'll update.
Well, I'm
not
saying
all
because of
happens,
that, because of how
as long as we survive.
because of how limited we are going outward. We look inward, then we start getting even more baffled and like finding these parallels, like you know what I mean, what with quantum physics and you know what I mean, 'cause it goes back to that multiverse. You know how they were able to demonstrate the multiverse because of this empty space that's inexplicable.
And once again, that's a theory. Like I'm not saying that it's like guaranteed. Like when I say believe in something, it's not a guarantee. It's not like
No.
I'm not gonna put all my chips in. You know what? I'll die for this.
it would certainly
Like-
be a weird thing to.
I
go
think
all
that
in on, yeah.
it's logical. That's
It's
the most I can say.
It's
about
certainly a logical explanation, and it's a fascinating one because
Yeah.
it still leaves you.
Interesting.
Like all it does is just leave you with even more questions. You know what I mean? Like
And that's how it is. That is
Right.
that is life. That is the key to life. Questions.
right. That's like all.
You're
it
always
is.
gonna have them. You need to accept that you're gonna have them.
Right. Yeah. You get these.
And when you stop accepting that you can have any questions about anything, that you can't change anything, that things are the way they are, that's when you know that you're just ready to die because you gave up.
Yeah.
You gave up.
You know when
The
you're
struggle
doing
is
that,
all in questions.
when you're doing that zoom
Always
out,
learning.
when you're doing the zoom out on fractals, you know what I mean. Like the first time I watched this documentary on the BBC about fractals and the guy that discovered them, and I mean originally they came up with I don't know if it was not the Mandelbrot set, but there was another set before that, and it was the way that they arrived at that series of numbers. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they-
I haven't seen this documentary, so I have no idea where you're going with
well, what it is,
But-
I mean, no, I'm just explaining how they came up with fractals and fractal art. I mean, basically, it was
Alright.
what they did is they took a sequence of numbers that was arrived at mathematically, and they ran it through these computers. Like, but it took. I mean, it was done like way a long time ago, and then like with the technology in the 80s that was available, through computers, they were able to expand to run the sequence of numbers millions and millions of times. And the representations of those numbers are what gave you the shape of the Mandelbrot set, which is that little weird, buggy fractal that no matter where you zoom in on it, it's self-replicating and it keeps like returning back to that image every single time that you zoom in on it.
It's like an infinite image.
Yeah, it's like exactly. And so like with the fractals, no matter where you zoom in, at any point on it, you can zoom in on it, and the further that you go into it, the more that it returns back to where it's starting from.
So you can see a cycle. That's really-
And so you can, if you type in, fractal zoom or Mandelbrot set zoom in YouTube, you get all these wicked videos where you zoom in on it. You got fast, slow, and different colors and shit. but the colors are actually representing the math that it's a physical, or I mean a depiction of the math.
Yeah.
So anyway, so fractals were just fascinating to me. I was learning about this dude and this guy. Mandelbrot was his last name, and I didn't understand how, but or the connection between that geometry and the universe. But there was just for some reason I was like, man, these go together.
Of course.
And like
Math is like
I
a
honestly
universal
think
language,
it's
so.
I mean, like it's like looking at the universe, man. They call it different things. They call it God's eye or God's thumbprint or whatever. But I mean, it's such a fucking rad shape. It's such a cool. I'll pull it up like there. Yeah. So fractals, like when I was listening to this thing on quantum physics, and they said we live in a fractal universe, and I was like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Love fractals.
That just means that the universe is one big cycle.
Right. Which going back to your, what I mean. Mm-hmm. Like we expand, we get far enough away from the Milky Way, and we're right back at something that's very similar to it. If not down to the, what I mean.
It never ends, so it has to repeat.
Right. Exactly. Since the possibilities are always there. There was also another deal on that. Or it was a different documentary. I watched a documentary on infinity, the concept of infinity, and whether or not it exists. There are people that think that it's that it can't. That there has to be some quantifiable number, whatever it is, where just like you don't get any more. You know what I mean? There are people that believe that infinity is an illusion, that it's not something that really exists, which I don't understand how that works. You know what I mean? It's these kind of paradoxes that really baffle the human mind that makes you think, what the fuck?
I wonder why they think that.
Right, yeah.
Because all the evidence points to the other direction. I don't see how.
Well, no, what they're basically, basically what they're saying is it's not
all based on our
it's
perspective now.
not a longest line. It's a circle. So it's like no matter how far it's like walking.
No matter how far you go, it's
no
gonna
matter how
come
far
right
you
back around.
exactly. You're gonna keep running. So that's what numbers are. You know what I mean? They're not tangible, but there's something that can go to infinity because
Eventually it's just gonna start right back over.
Like but you can always add one. But I mean, like numbers would be an example of something that is not it's linear. It's not circular. You know what I mean? It's not self-repeating. They just keep going because you can always add one to it. So that's why the concept of numbers in infinity, you know what I mean, correlate, are hand in hand because it's something that's always infinite.
Yeah.
So you think about the universe and these infinite. You know what I mean? That it's like. Is the universe like one of those deals where no matter what direction we walk in, as long as we walk far enough, we're going to get back to where we started?
Or fly far enough, or whatever the case.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm asking you, Frank. I expect you to know this.
Those are big questions. Those are the kinds of questions that it's like, I don't know. I guess if your perception could be extended that far, it's a possibility.
They did this, because they're using computers to run, random. To find out the random chance. What it was this deal, like if you put monkeys in a room with typewriters, how long before they were able to type the complete works of Shakespeare? And so this computer was randomly generating these numbers. Yeah, these they didn't use monkeys. It was this computer simulating, monkeys just randomly hitting, a typewriter, and it was like something. I mean, I'm really not clear on what the numbers were, but it was ridiculous amount of maybe fucking 60,000 years or something like that. You know what I mean? They were able to after a long enough time.
They eventually hit it.
They didn't hit the entire works. They were talking about the entire works of Shakespeare, just mashing a fucking thing. But they hit like 3 words, like 3 or 4 words, like in a row. You know what I mean? It was like part of a sentence that was randomly just came out of that. Okay. So if they hit part of a sentence, and if we
how long is it going to be till they hit the next part of the sentence?
Yeah, if we're able to just assume, okay, the universe is infinite, there's no fucking end, you're never going to find the end. That means, or does that mean that begs the question? If random activity over a long enough timeline, you know what I mean? What kind of possibilities would exist with that? You know what I mean? Just like with life.
Infinite possibilities.
Yeah. Infinite possibilities, dude. So
that's the question, man.
There could be some really rad shit going on.
See, that's where you get like mind-boggling, and people are like
euros or a dollar.
People talk about how amazing it is for like simple things, like this phone, it's so amazing. Have you looked at the stars? That's some crazy ass shit. Right now, when you're looking up, the Earth's going like this.
Yep.
and you're traveling around the sun.
Right now in a universe,
crazy.
I'm hoping that there's a universe that I'm living right above Nick's Euros, or like right next to it or something. You know what I mean?
You like that place that much?
Oh, fucking love it, dude. Nick's Euros, love it.
I do like Nick's Euros, but
Fuck yeah, dude.
I was really disappointed when I found out it wasn't sheep meat. It was actually just beef.
Is it really? I thought it was lamb.
It's just beef.
You wanted the sad meat. You're one of those little fuckers that haven't seen the light of day in their whole life.
I'll eat some sheep, whatever. Call me the wolf man. I don't give a fuck.
sheep before?
I've had lamb chops, I think, once. I had lamb chops. They weren't very good. It was okay.
Yeah, goat meat.
Goat
That's
meat?
where it's at.
No. Have you?
Yeah.
That's where it's at?
Pretty good.
Where'd you eat some goat meat at?
Mexico.
Cool.
Mexicans.
What did it taste like? Chicken? Taste like goat? Taste
I
like
hear
beef?
it's super tender.
It's really gamey.
It's really gamey.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was gonna play some Dragon Force today.
Tastes like
but
chicken.
It doesn't taste like chicken.
No, it tastes like I can't describe it. It's
Yeah.
like goat.
Right.
Is it kind of an Angus beef kind of taste? Like super soft,
I don't know.
moist.
It's really dry and
Well, it's
tender.
Dry and tender are two things that usually don't coincide.
Right. Just crumbly.
Yeah.
Tastes like
It's like a
cheese.
cracker.
You ever listen to Pig Destroyer?
I have heard Pig Destroyer.
The guitar player's pretty cool.
He is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just haven't heard a lot of them.
before.
Heard what? What?
Ever ate blackbird before?
Have I ever eaten blackbird before?
Talking
No.
about crows?
Talking about crows? I don't think I wouldn't eat a crow. I don't even want a crow. Why? Why'd you do that?
I have.
Well, if you're hungry, man.
Were you just really hungry or what?
Well, no, my friend, my old roommate, Riley, her dad is half native, and they could basically kill whatever they want
Okay.
in northern Minnesota.
Alright.
And he ground up a black bear.
A black bear? Oh, I thought you said
Black
black
bear?
bird.
I thought you said black bird.
Yeah, I thought you said black bird.
No,
It was a
black
bear.
Black bear.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I can get down on some bear meat.
Yeah, I need some
Yeah.
bear meat.
I don't know why.
Plus, you'd have like
I don't know
so
why
much
that would
meat.
eat that much.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's like
It's
800
really
pound
good.
fucking
Is it good?
Bear.
It doesn't seem like it'd be good for some reason, but I
What
would
did he
try
kill
it.
the bear with? I'm so curious. Was it a firearm?
His dick.
I did not get that information.
He chased him down and humped him to death.
I don't know what's wrong.
We don't even know this guy. I mean, I feel bad for him already.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
who you're
talking
talking
shit.
Yeah, just keep his name off the podcast. It'll be fine. It's all good.
You don't know what he used?
I have no idea. What
Because I've heard a
For
guy
a bear, what else are you
shooting
gonna fucking
you-
use? A goddamn gun.
Yeah.
A black
But what
bear.
caliber?
You're not gonna
of gun
fucking
would
take
you
that
use? You
down
didn't
with a
use
fucking bow
I
and
don't
arrow.
fucking know.
No. Just curious.
Don't get upset, Jordan. It's okay.
Sorry, dog.
Don't hurt Frank.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, he just wants to know answers. He wants to dig deeper.
He just
Because I've heard of guys hunting with like
shipped
45
out some
caliber.
bear meat to his daughter, which is my old
Oh, he
roommate.
shipped it out to you. Okay, yeah. Didn't he meet the guy? You just heard, this is bear meat, eat this.
Try some bear
Well,
meat.
no. She's from Cloquet, Minnesota, so
Okay.
which is outside Duluth. And I used to live in Minneapolis, and they brought it down to her.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. North of Minneapolis, man, Minnesota, is just fucking awesome country up there, man.
All the lakes.
It's
and
so
shit.
fucking cool, dude.
The forest.
Well, yeah, the forest there, and it's awesome, man. I mean, I don't know. You hate to hate on your home, but I gotta tell you, man, South Dakota's pretty
There's nothing
fucking
out
unique.
here, man. Not till you get to the east side of the state.
That's
Once
the
you get to the
biggest
east
problem.
side and you start seeing the tip of the Rockies, you're like,
At least,
ooh.
yeah, something.
They
So
weren't lying
see,
when they said
Colorado
10,000
for me
lakes
is what got me,
because-
man.
What's that?
So they weren't lying when they said 10,000 lakes.
Oh no, yeah, there's fucking lakes everywhere.
There's like 5 lakes within Minneapolis alone.
Yeah, I spent some time out there, like a month out, north of the cities and shit, and the fucking chipmunks were so tame they'd run right up to you. It was fucking nuts, dude. I'm serious.
That's scary because I don't like fucking chipmunks and
Well,
squirrels.
I
And
mean,
shit
like,
that.
it's not like they were like close enough where you could touch them.
They
but
creep you, they're like shaking
No,
and shit.
dude, Have you seen chipmunks, dude? They're fucking awesome.
No.
Oh, they're great.
I've
dude.
seen chipmunks.
They run
but
they run up to like as close to that shoe. You know what I mean? And like you can toss them peanuts and they'll scarf them down, and run away. Like
what
fucking.
I'm talking about. They're all like in fast forward and shit.
Oh yeah, dude.
Weird.
They're fucking hauling ass.
That's
dude.
what I'm talking about. It's creepy.
They're moving, dude. I love that shit.
If you were to get swarmed by some chipmunks, dude, they'd fuck you up.
If you got swarmed by enough of anything, it could probably fuck you up. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's
I
always
guess you got a point. I guess you got a
That's
point.
always a fucking great conversation to have. Like, how many of these do you think you could take? You know what I mean? We've definitely done that.
To where
before.
you'd survive.
Yeah, like fucking there was a service called Cha-Cha.
And they'd ask you, how many lions? One.
Yeah, exactly.
You catch my
have
ass.
you heard of this Cha-Cha? Like, it was going on for a while, like, where you could text it any question, and it would always answer back to you, you know what I mean? Something.
Go ahead.
And like this friend of mine's like, how many baby seals can I fit into my 96, you know, whatever, like Jetta or whatever, this car or whatever.
Crazy ass.
Yeah, and they're like, it didn't take long. They responded back. They're like, we have what would they say? No statistical data to back this up, but about 47 baby seals. Like, to give me the best approximation. Like, I'd ask them like ridiculous shit. Like,
see, what you need to do is go
Please
find
God,
those
like, fucking
those like raffles where you have to like find jelly beans and shit, take measurements of it, and send it in as a question.
Yeah, I
And
fucking-
then send it back.
yeah, I'd always, I don't even send pictures. It was just straight text. You know what I mean? I just text them questions, and I asked them some different shit. I asked them, what did I say? Something about Collapse. I was like, is Slow Motion Collapse a good band or something like that? Or no,
It's like a logical 8-ball. It's crazy.
Well, what I asked him, what I asked him was first I asked him, is there any band out there, or I said, is there any other band out there called Slow Motion Collapse other than my own? Or I said, or whatever. I said, is there any band called Slow Motion Collapse? And like I got a response back and said, currently there is only one band called Slow Motion Collapse in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude.
You know how hard it is to find a band name that nobody else has?
You know,
We are
and
struggling
it just,
with it right now.
and I wish obviously I didn't coin the term. The term was originally, I guess, famously coined. If you Google it, it was famously coined regarding in the '80s with the Russians, with the Soviet Union. Basically, the Soviet Union. Its slow decline into what it turned into with all the different separate states. They referred to that as a slow motion collapse because everything was crumbling slowly.
Did you look it up first? Is that kind of how you did it? Or
I
you guys just
the
kinda
name. No, I came
rolled
up with the
off the
name.
tongue, came
I
out
came
of
up with the
nowhere?
name by looking at a book called The Heavy Metal Encyclopedia. Have you seen this book?
No.
What?
Yeah.
Frank, you
Yeah,
got
I
it.
know.
Come
dude,
on.
heavy metal.
And it's cheap too. It's only like $20 at fucking. It's only like $20 at Barnes and Noble.
Fuck, man, I gotta
It's
go buy
big.
one.
Oh, it's badass. They've got one at Cat House. It's about that big. It's like the size of an LP.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Big glossy pages. You flip through it, and it's got A through Z, a shitload of different metal bands.
Okay. Like the history of metal and shit.
Oh yeah, dude. And they
Fuck
rate
yeah,
it.
dude.
They rate it with symbols. Like at the beginning, by the name, it'll be like it'll say Led Zeppelin, and then it'll have symbols that, which in the beginning they've got a key for them, and it's like there's like footprints, like male footprints going this way and female ones, or you know what I mean. And like that stands for sex. They'll have a bomb that's on fire, and that stands for violence.
Yeah.
And they'll have a syringe for drugs. And like all or death, they have a tombstone for death because the things that were associated with that band.
Mm-hmm.
And so you look through, and the one that had all of them, I'm trying to think about the one that had all of them. Fucking Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath was one that had like every symbol.
Well, if you were to ask me, Black Sabbath was the first heavy metal band.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, and I would agree.
I feel they're the first ones that took it dark.
Yeah, they took it.
And that's where everybody else has stolen it from.
Iommi.
That point on.
Yeah,
Yes.
good shit.
Oh yeah, dude. At least in the heavy metal run. I mean, it's fucking
I
crazy.
lost my thread. Where was I going with this? Where were we starting out at? No one knows.
Who fucking knows what we were talking about? Well, we were talking about band names. You're talking about Slow Motion Collapse.
Oh yeah, I came up with that name by reading a review of the Melvins.
Ah, okay.
And in the Melvins, they described their sound as a slow motion collapse of noise, and I was like, that would be a cool fucking band name.
It was a cool
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
band name.
Thank you. And like I brought it up to the guys, and they're into it. Shit.
See, that's the thing. You bring it up to all your fucking man friends.
they may or may not like it.
Yeah. It was a huge debate for us trying to find a band name, and then we found a band name, and it turns out that like every techno rapper and even other metal guys have used it, so it's like a very common name. And I'm like, fuck. And plus, there's a card game called Flux.
Really?
So I'm like, oh, it's spelled the same way, everything. It's fucking trademarked. Oh my god. So I'm like, Jesus Christ. So we might have to change our name just for that. We're discussing that.
The other name that I came up with that I haven't been able to find. There's a band out of South America that has a song that's named it, but that's not how I arrived at it. I arrived at it by listening to Rush Limbaugh, who called.
Listen to him.
I know. I'm a masochist. We went over this.
You hate the guy so much that you have to listen to him.
Well,
right?
I want to know my enemy.
You
So
all-
like I told you, like I listen to crazy people during the day and at night.
Yeah.
On Fox. So anyway, Architects of War, I thought of because he said he called Obama an architect of disaster, and I said, well, if he's an architect of disaster, then Bush is an architect of war.
Architects of War sounds
Architect
so
of
familiar.
War.
Like I've almost heard that before. I know there's a band called The Architect.
Oh yeah. But Architects of War, I have not found yet, and
There you go.
I'm pretty psyched about trying to put a projector on that, and because I've already got the EP material, you know,
Oh,
and
there
it's
you go.
fucking good. It's stuff that I wrote with Jake, and I love it.
Ah.
I really like to program the
Yeah,
drums
we
on it, and
Gotta
record
get
it.
fucking Jake in there.
I
And then
know.
you could chip him off. I bet Mike, you know Michael Allen? But if you were to contact him,
No,
he'd probably do your
That's
drums
what
for
I
you.
wanted to contact. Yeah, I
'Cause
wanted to
he's,
contact.
he's really good at the drum
I'd have to
programming.
record
And
all-
he's really proficient in Pro Tools as far as
But
I
I'd
know.
have to record all the parts to a drum track, or not the drum track, but to a metronome. And I just haven't got around to doing that yet. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Jake never has a fucking time, and I don't really have the means to capture the tracks efficiently, the signals efficiently to send it off to him.
Yeah.
So I still have to contact him and then figure out a way. Like maybe I can go to Dresch. Yeah, either way, it's going to cost some money, but I'm going to do it. I like that name. Like I think that's going to be that could be a really cool
There you go,
project.
dude. And just make it like a recording project.
Yeah, I mean, like for now, I mean, like down the road, like I mean, I'm spending this time in Sioux Falls now because my son is growing up here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and he's old. I started off young, so I mean, like he was born when I was 18. So
Jesus.
yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, like now.
Should have been rapping, dude.
Uh,
Not saying like a regret. I mean, obviously you don't regret your childhood.
Frank the
ever,
racist
ever.
Mexican, ladies and gentlemen. No, I
How is that racist?
I don't know. I just
Why? Because you're Mexican?
It felt good
You
saying
breathe
it.
like crazy? Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Yeah,
Dude,
that's what I'm saying.
I got more kids than you do.
All right, fair enough. Well, anyway, the point is that I'll still be young enough. Like, I mean,
True.
he's
True.
he's 12 years old. So
Okay.
he's gonna be 13.
He's up there, dude.
Right.
Wow,
He's gonna be a fucking teenager. That's not gonna be until July, but still,
Yeah, I mean, you
this
know he's
July.
jerking off. You know he's at that point.
Fucking weirdo.
It's not weird. You need to know that stuff about your kids.
Do I
Who's going to
know?
be there to answer those questions? That's
Wow,
your job,
he's
Donnie.
figuring it out. I figured my way. I know he'll be there. You'll get there. Anyway, the point is that I'm spending this time in South Dakota not
Sure.
out of choice. I'm spending it to be closer to him.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
like,
you got to
there's-
be there. I mean, that's what dads.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's
I
what
wanna-
good dads do,
Well,
anyways.
that's
I
what I
mean,
want
there's
to try to
plenty
do.
of
You
shit
try.
bags,
Well,
but-
you try to do what you can. You do as much as you can. With
Yeah.
what you have. But basically, I'm looking at it as this period of time as the time that I need to be prepping myself before I head west. You know what I mean? I'm definitely gonna head to a city and try and establish these
a full-size
projects. Yeah.
city, which
Like I want to
has
get
a
architects of
large
war, like
pool
you know
of
what I mean,
fucking
like
musicians,
and just dig it like that. You know what I mean? Like spend some years doing that. Really go
Yeah.
forward. But
It's really hard to do
But
anything
it's
out
like
here
you were
because it's
saying.
so limited.
Well, but I think it relates back to what you were saying. I mean, ultimately, yeah, I get to watch my son grow up, and that's super important to me. But you know what I mean? After, when he's, 17, 18 years old, I'm only going to be 34 years old. You know what I mean? 34, 35 years old.
There's plenty of metal guys who are older than that.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. So, I mean, you're telling me you're a fucking 34-year-old, 35-year-old man out there fucking, and you spent that fucking last half decade training just to do that, to play that music.
Mhm.
You're going to, you know what I mean? You put that work in before you're going out to showcase shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you're putting in that work.
I think people don't even understand that I played for like 6.5, 7 years before I ever played in front of somebody. Like it took that long before I started playing in front of people. So, I mean,
Yeah. You got to put in the work.
it's a lot of work. It's not like you just pick it up and you're natural at it. I don't care. Even the guys who are really, really good at it naturally, who just kind of had an inclination, they still had to sit and grind. It's just how it is. At least for our type of music. I think punk music, I could have picked that shit up right away.
Well, yeah,
But lyrically, punk
It's-
music has an advantage because it's really an expression of your life.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. There's so much awesome fucking, like, ska punk or just, like, straight up punk rock. Like, the lyrics are dense. I
Yeah.
listened to a band called
Yeah.
fucking Wilhelm Scream, dude. I should bring you a CD of them. It's paragraphs. If you read the fucking lyrics, you open up the booklet, it's paragraphs upon paragraphs of shit that don't repeat. Like,
Yeah.
it's not repeating, like, this motherfucker has something to say, and, like, it's
Yeah.
fucking a lot. I mean, it's basically, like, really good writing. I mean, like, fucking, when it's
Yeah.
done right, and the Wilhelm Scream, they're fucking awesome, great guitar harmonies. You're gonna dig those guys. I'm gonna burn you a CD down.
Well, go ahead and burn one.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn one of those,
I'm
yeah.
down.
Yeah, they're an example to me, like them or Operation Ivy. I mean, like, bands that,
Cool.
like, you find that in reggae, too, like, at least lyrically, it's very powerful, like, the stuff that they say.
Yeah, see, like
The
Bob
stuff that
Marley,
they
dude.
say
I love
is
Bob
power.
Marley.
Yeah, the stuff, you know what I mean? It has weight to it. It's
Yeah.
very lyrically driven. And you can find a lot of that in metal. You know what I mean?
You can find a lot of that in just like the roots of metal, like Jimi Hendrix and shit like that, where you'd find guys who were talking about real fucking issues, you know.
Yeah.
Even like common guys like Jimi Hendrix, like I was saying. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, it's always nice. You know, I think it holds a lot more of an impact when you got, some really fucking cool lyrics. And really,
we try
really
to do
good
that.
lyrics.
We try to do that. Like if we're gonna, it's either gonna be fanatical, like it's gonna be about like a story, or it's gonna be about like some sort of social issue.
Right
So,
on.
it's generally with like my inspiration behind the lyrics, because in my band it's kind of like a collaboration between me and the other guitar player who wrote the lyrics. So
Guy I work with, I met him in jail, and I was there doing 40 days for DUI. It was fucking really lame. And I met him in jail. He seemed like a nice guy. He was like, you don't really meet nice people in jail. You know, they're mostly shitheads. On
yeah,
jail,
or some guy who owes like $40,000 in child support.
There's a lot of shitheads in jail, dude.
True.
Anyway, I met this guy. He seemed like the only other dude. He had like a battleship fucking tattoo, and we started talking about bands and stuff, and I got along with him, and fucking, now I work with him. And we while we were in jail, we were watching this show called The First 48. Have you seen The First 48? It's a TV show where they follow these cops, and after there's a murder, they say statistically, the odds of catching the murderer go down. They drop off like after the first 48 hours.
Yep. Yeah, okay.
So they basically, it's like a reality show about these cops that they follow the cops, and the way that they go around and question people. I mean, they don't sleep; they just burn through this like 48 hours.
Of
right?
course, yeah.
Okay, so that's the premise for the show. All right, now I had no idea about this, but if you actually watch that show and you listen to the narrator and you read the titles for each one, it'd be like there's one like in Minneapolis called "Blood in the Snow," and I'm like, that'd be a sick name for a song. and then this guy starts talking.
Yeah.
And he's like, the way he talks is so. It was like it was intentionally meant to be made into a death metal song. The lyrics are like, you know what I mean? Like, the lyrics are like, on a snowy night in Minneapolis, one girl doesn't come home.
See, that's the
You know what I mean?
cool thing
I'm
about
listening.
death metal lyrics.
Yeah.
People don't even realize it because they can't understand it.
Yeah,
But it's totally a
but they'll
fucking
say that, yeah.
gnarly ass horror story.
Yeah. So they'll say shit like that, and like I was like, dude, are you hearing this? This is like
Yeah.
death metal. You can just,
Oh, yeah.
you know, the blood of the innocent lies on the ground in the snow.
Oh, that's fucking
You know what I
awesome.
mean? Like all this stuff.
I mean,
like,
it's not awesome that it happened. I'm saying
Right,
that it's just
right.
awesome.
It's awesome,
as,
like, the way-
lyrically,
yeah,
if some
exactly.
guy just thought of that.
Okay, so the way that you feel right now is how I was freaking out when I was looking
Yeah,
at it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and he's the only other guy in there that really listens to that type of
Yeah.
stuff. So we're cracking up watching this first 48 like a couple of idiots.
So was it an English guy too, with like an English accent?
No, he was
okay.
one of those in a world. You know?
Oh god, like
the
Paulo
really-
Brandon, like
yeah.
the movie.
Like that's how we read everything, dude. It was really,
whirlwind,
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger is little
tortilla
boy.
two parents are receiving the news or whatever. Anyway, so he's going off of that, and he's doing that voice, and fucking. So we're laughing, and I'm like, dude,
so
we're starting a tribute band, and we're calling it the First 48. We're gonna get the transcripts to the show,
That is awesome.
and we're gonna fucking
That is a
do it
cool
as
name.
we're gonna do it as essentially a joke band. And like I was thinking about it today, and like I'm like, dude, we're doing First 48, you know, and he's always like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it, you know. I don't know how serious.
What does he do? Or does he play guitar? Does he?
Yeah, he's got a guitar player. He played
There you
bass in a punk band, and he's like, "Can I play bass?" I'm like, "Do bass." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Essentially, when you say, okay, number one, like it to me, it's an interesting concept, like, but I don't want to I don't want to take it seriously. Like I feel like I was weighing it in my mind, and I was like, okay, are people gonna get mad because there are real people that died, and here I am like treating this as like a joke or exploiting?
Listen,
am I exploiting it?
There's no such thing as bad press.
And like what I was thinking, well, what my conflict was, I was like, am I going to offend You know what I mean? Someone.
Your coat?
Oh,
Look, just hold on.
taking off your dog.
Yeah.
All right, man.
We'll see you later, man.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming by. So I was weighing the positives and
Sure.
I was weighing the positives and negatives about this. I was like, well, what could be the potential blowback from
I wouldn't
doing
even
this?
worry about that, dude. If it sounds like a good idea, that makes it a good idea.
Think so?
You're not gonna know till you get. Besides, you're gonna have the large buffer zone between,
Yeah.
you know, like now and getting it done, and then
Sure.
getting heard by somebody who's actually gonna give a shit
Yeah.
about whatever you're talking about.
Yeah.
Miss some dog? Oh, your laptop.
Fucking up my podcast.
We'll see you, dude.
Um,
So yeah, I wouldn't even worry about that because I mean you have such a large buffer zone that you'll get to
Right.
feel it out before it gets
Right.
nasty.
yeah, I suppose. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mean, like honestly, like I was thinking about how to. I was thinking about like what stuff like riffs and shit that I would play to that, and bands that occurred to me. Like I played with this band called the Great Redneck Hope, and they were ridiculous, dude. Anyone they were like fucking
Grindcore.
oh yeah, grindcore, about 13-second songs, 13.
Super
13,
tech.
yeah.
Super tech metal.
And it was super technical. The shit was amazing.
That's
it
it.
was amazing, dude. It was like a fucking, just a barrage, and fucking,
Yeah.
bam, bam, bam. They're playing these songs, and it was like, what? But again, I've seen them a couple times. I played a show with them, and man, those guys were fucking good. But something like that, like spastic, fucking random, short, but as techie as I can muster. But I was the thing that occurred to me today when I was walking home is that, dude, it's kind of liberating not having to be encumbered by giving a fuck about whether something sounds good. It's like, I don't care if this sounds good or not. This
That's how I
band,
feel.
This band's called The First 48. And
That's how I feel because to me it's like, does it sound good to me? That's what matters.
No, I'm saying I've even gone beyond that. Like, I don't even care if it sounds good to me. That's the liberating part.
You just want it to be.
It could be
whatever it is.
Exactly. I'm just gonna let it exist on its own. And
There
just
you
call
go,
it
dude.
The First 48.
There you
And
go.
we already got a keyboard player lined up for it. Keyboard, bass. I got guitar. Fuck, we could use a drum machine for this. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And if we're using a drum machine for that, it's gonna be
Yeah, that's all you need.
unrealistic.
You're just fucking holding the button as we're recording it.
What if you what I'll do is I'll find a sample of the fastest double bass ever.
Just use that for every song in guitars. You can totally do that. Hate to say it, but drumming is kind of simple like that. A lot of the metal drumming you hear repeating.
Dude,
So.
that would be like,
Dude, what you
I don't know
could-
about every song. Like you do like
What you could do is get a drum sample and then get a speed up, and then just find all these weird
Just
samples and
speed
just speed those fuckers up to 300 beats per minute. Every last one of them. Yeah, I know, dude.
Yeah,
It's gonna be all tremolo picking and dissonant chords.
Yep. But I wanna bounce back to out of context, uncomfortably slow sludge.
Oh yeah.
So
Doom metal?
bounce between doom and uncomfortable doom to breakneck retardedness in the back. Again, keep intermingling them, and just do that, and then call it The First 48, and then make it all about murder.
Have you ever heard Psyopus?
Yeah, dude, that shit's weird. See,
That shit is so
that's
fucking
techie as
off
fuck,
the
though, dude.
wall,
It's
dude.
super techie though.
It's got, you know how much concentration it takes to fucking sound fucked up all the time?
Yeah.
If I hit a sour note, I stop. It's just a natural inclination after all the practicing that when I hit sour notes, I hear it and it gets in my head that
those
that's
guys-
not on the right scale.
Those guys embrace it, man. They
Oh,
embrace
fuck
it
yeah,
and run
dude.
with it. Just some of the leads on that Rings of Saturn. There's one on there that's a clean run that he does, or in a clean section, and the scales that he's playing while he's playing, I don't understand them. I don't understand what shapes he's doing, but the jumps that he's making they're just
What I heard in there was a
So
lot of chromatics.
so smooth and I
Yeah.
don't know, man. The shapes of it, yeah, very chromatic.
Yeah.
Very
I mean,
chromatic.
with chromatics, you can pretty much. He could use any scale and just use the chromatics as passing tones, and therefore it would sound.
What does that
atonal.
mean? What does that mean?
Like, God, guitar lesson. And sure, let's say you're playing.
Not everyone knows what passing notes are out there.
Passing tones are just like fillers in between. Like, say you're playing really fast. Say you're gonna run the pentatonic scale, just
Yeah.
from top to bottom. Yeah, all the way to the 6th string and then back up. Okay. So if you were to just do the pentatonic scale, which is 2 notes per string, you just start adding in all the chromatics in between the 2 notes. And you just put them all in there. And if you play it fast enough, you're actually playing the pentatonic scale with passing tones in it, because all they're going to hear is the outline melody. They're not going to really be able to understand and sit back and listen to.
If you're going really fast.
If you're going really fast, it's just going to sound blurry. It all kind of sounds the same. That's kind of why, like guys like John Petrucci, when they play super fast, I'm not really impressed, because a lot of it is chromaticism.
You're right. Well, no, what I'm saying is this is not that. This is very deliberate, and this is very, it's the note choices and the scales that he operates.
Oh, it's deliberate. They don't do it.
Well,
on
no,
accident.
I'm saying it's not fast. It's not fast.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's at like a measured gate of like, you know, of a riff, of like a riff that's not indiscernible at all. Like you hear everything, every note that's picked out is sustained for a moment, and then like just
okay. If the riff is atonal, then you can just do whatever you want.
But the thing is that it's like, I see what you're saying. No, it's not just pure dissonance. It's like the way he operates within the dissonance.
Dissonance doesn't necessarily, it doesn't mean dissonance atonal. I mean like Slayer, like the end of Raining Blood, where it's like just that E, and he's just tremble picking the shit out of it. He can play whatever the fuck he wants over the top of that. That's why they can get away with that Kerry King,
the Kerry King
pulling on the whammy bar and all that kind of shit.
Well, this is like
and
an
people aren't
onslaught
absolutely
of notes.
just disgusted by some of the sounds.
Because it's already so fucking atonal. That
it's already so open that he can do whatever he wants, and it's still going to have musical qualities.
Yeah, I liked it and I found it interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like, I always really liked the Slayer solos a lot. But I was never like, God, I'm so blown away by that guy's technicality. No. I like Slayer because it's awesome and it's like heavy and it's, you know, it's
I like their bad attitude. That's the thing about Slayer that I like, is they don't give a fuck.
I'm saying their music reflects that. You know what I mean?
Like, exactly.
You know, their music
They've got
is
the
brutally,
best punk attitude in metal.
I mean, like, their solos are just very I don't give a fuck. And but I mean, they're very interesting because of that. But at the same time, like, it's not, you know, nearly as impressive to me as like something that could be busted out by Mars Volta or
Necrophagist.
Oh yeah, well yeah, even
bust that
even
Phrygian sleep pattern.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. Yeah, because I've heard some necro that gets into that stuff I'm talking about. It's essentially like, you know, it's chromatic.
Necro's very deliberate.
It's chromatic. Oh yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's not a rushed, you know, Dragon Force speed riff. I'm saying
it's well organized.
Everything's very discernible, and like you can hear these riffs and the way that the notes that they're choosing and stuff are so unfamiliar to me. Like the jumps and stuff that they're doing. And it's like, man, that's really cool. And the best guitar solo that I have heard recently is that Rings of Saturn. I mean, there's a clean section in there that's just so good. I want to get it on vinyl. My freaking needle broke on my record player. It would be less expensive to buy a new record player. Right? So I got that thing for $25.
That sucks ass.
Well, I've got another turntable up there, but I don't have a receiver.
Oh, okay.
But if I did have a receiver, I could tell you what, these speakers would be hopping. Actually, that's a power throw more than the Sanyo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you actually got some real, like, voltage to those fuckers.
There you go, dude.
Yeah. But, you know, that's down the line. These days, I'm saving up. I really want to get that Within the Ruins guitar. You know, they dropped that $275, and I got it. This Monday, I'm going to go and put my down payment on the Bugera amp, $60 down. And
the Wagner?
No, Bugera.
Bugera. I thought you said Wagner.
Bugera amp.
Okay.
Open back, all tube, built-in noise gate, 3-channel. Coming home with Daddy soon. So I'm gonna go put a down payment on that sucker.
I can't bring myself to buy another amp. I just can't do it.
What are you jamming through?
I jammed through a 2.0 pod. Line 6.
What now? Is that a combo amp or is that?
It's a pod. It's a little tiny electronic pad that you just plug into like a PA or whatever, and it simulates.
Oh, you just plug into a PA.
And
I see.
Yeah. And I carry nothing. I carry the guitar with the pod in the back.
But you're kind of at the mercy of the PA then.
I am completely at the mercy of the sound guy. As long as I get good sound guys, which I usually do because I only play at boonies and.
How do you?
I get Dale every time.
Yeah.
Dale knows. He's a guitar player. He knows. He knows how important it is.
Dale knows what's up. I gotta get
Dale
Dale on the podcast. I gotta hit him up. He said that he expressed some interest in coming on, so I'll have to get him.
Yeah,
on.
Dale's
he's been around the block. Yeah, Dale's
psychosomatic and shit.
Oh fuck yeah, Dale's good shit. So you're simulating your guitar, your cabinet, That's what you're saying?
What you can do is, it has so many options, and this is the older version. The 2.0 is like probably, 10 years old almost? But you can choose whether you want it to reflect like the sound of like 210s, 212s, 410s, 412s. Oh yeah.
I wonder how it's able to calculate that.
I don't know. It does a really good job, and it sounds pretty fucking organic.
Just the signals, just the signals that it sends to the to whatever you're putting it through.
To the naked ear of most people, they would not be able to discern it on recording.
Really?
Absolutely. To the naked ear of most people, to the average person, they would not be able to. Maybe like Dresh.
Why doesn't
somebody's got a heightened ear like Dresh, he'd spot that fucker right away. Like I'd spot it right away. Yeah. But like the average person, they wouldn't even notice.
Would never know.
And
it doesn't sound thin at all. I mean, that's the things
prime
that
example.
tend to happen.
What kind of got me to switch on it is we opened for Cataclysm with Tennessee, and Cataclysm from Canada. They're like a death metal band.
I've heard of them. Yeah, they're really good.
They're really good. He used a pod.
So he was just plugged in. He was running direct line right into the PA.
Right into the fucking PA, and it's stereo out, so it's left and right.
No,
and he's only one guitar player.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. So he's only using one guitar.
He uses one guitar player and a loop station, and that's how he gets the simulated sound of two guitars.
God, jamming to a loop station, we got bitch. You see the timing down. A lot of people play the tracks and stuff. I mean, like we were debating on Facebook about whether or not that dude from Within the Ruins was using a
loop station,
a pedal, or playing to a track.
Yeah.
And I think. Who was it? Sheldon that chimed in saying that he thought it was like a track. I don't know if it was Sheldon that said that or not.
I don't know. The thing about
someone that said he was playing to a track, but then you said he was playing. It sounded like he was playing to a pedal, and I think it sounded like he was playing to a pedal straight only because of just the way that he was playing the notes, the way it corresponded with what was going through the PA was very pedally because there were ugly notes in there that wouldn't necessarily be as desirable. It was kind of like he just already had those you know what I mean.
Well, you can have a prepared set.
Like a Music Man, Harmony Man, or whatever.
Yeah, but the problem is with like a prepared recording for it that you use, and you hit a pedal, which is basically like playing a track.
No, I'm saying he wasn't playing to a track. I think he was playing to a pedal.
You think he played the riff, and he recorded it, and then later he came back to it. When he came back to it, he clicked the pedal, and then he started the lead over the top of it.
No, I think that he just was running through a pedal, a Harmony Man or something like that. That had the.
Doesn't explain the rhythm and the lead playing at the same time.
Oh, I didn't see that.
There was a rhythm
and
a lead playing.
So then, then potentially he could be doing both. He could be playing to a track and then also have the harmonies when he needs to do the riffs.
Absolutely.
Well, there and click on that.
There's a Harmony Man. There's a whammy pedal. There's lots of options as far as that goes.
That's what I'm saying.
To where you could make.
And you could
simulate three guitars.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. You could run it like separate signals, and you could have like totally clear, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people don't even know
what less guy to pay.
Animals as Leaders is a big one where he has two guitar players. There's no bass player in there. There's two guitar players and a drummer. But he uses the loop station and the harmonizer to do a lot of the double guitar work. It's going on the record.
He's playing 8-string guitar or something like that.
They're both playing 8 strings.
Yeah. See, now I was wondering, so it's just two 8-string guitars.
It's two 8-string guitars.
Well, you don't need a fucking bass player if you got an 8-string guitar.
No, you don't, dude. Well, it's kind of in between. It's not quite the tone of the bass.
No, it's not. But I mean,
it's deep enough to where you could.
With the production that they have,
you can get away with it live, and people wouldn't even notice.
Live, no. Well, you're talking to a guy who played without a bass player for way too many shows.
Yeah, same here, dude. Until we met Chris, 3 years into it.
Yeah.
We were like, fuck it.
Yeah, no, I think, with the production means available right now, maybe you wouldn't be able to completely recreate that same tone. Maybe not, but it seems like you can get pretty fucking deep with it. You can get pretty
close to it, yeah. Especially if you got a good sound guy, man. He knows how to bring out those lows, he knows where the gates need to be. They generally know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like a sound guy you take on tour with you. That motherfucker knows your sound.
Yep. You better, yeah.
You better, otherwise he's going to get fired. Right. That's how it works.
Do you, have you ever heard of Russian Circles?
Mm-hmm.
No, they're really good. They're a 3-piece out of Chicago, instrumental group. Okay. And, for a 3-piece, they incorporate a lot of loops. A lot of tasty note choice, you know what I mean? Like, if you're playing an instrumental group, your music better be good, right?
Obviously, it's got to be super...
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's
attentive.
Yeah, plus the name Russian Circle is pretty cool. But, no, they're very good. Super melodic, I guess, I don't know. You could call it... you wouldn't call it an emo band. You wouldn't call it, an indie rock band. they've got 2 EPs, really good stuff. I'll throw that on the CD too. Like, it's instrumental, but I mean, like, some of the guitar lines and stuff he does are just phenomenal. And they do all the recording, production and stuff. A lot of it, as I understand, they do it themselves, and it sounds really good. And that Animals as Leaders, it sounds like they did that production themselves too.
He went in and did all the guitars, toes in a boxy, and then they programmed the drums. So he was kind of all by himself.
They programmed those drums?
They
Which
pro-
on
the very
on
first
Waitlist?
album. No, it's first album.
Okay.
First
I was
album,
gonna
which
say
is
not on that
self-titled.
Waitlist shit. Fuck that. Those drums are great.
The Waitlist, they might have. I don't really know. I know that the first album. Once you listen to the first album, dude. But there's a lot of electronic shit in the Waitlist.
It's way too. I mean, I say this, but I mean, it really is. I mean, you could program the drums, yes, but the way that it's played would be. It's just very uncharacteristic of something that's programmed. There's just too much like soul in it. You know what I mean? There's too much soul like within the fills and shit that he's playing.
Dude, I can just tell you that some of the drum replication that's possible is fucking insane.
Oh yeah, there's no question about that.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
I mean,
have you ever seen a tune track program?
You could. Oh yeah,
Drums?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my
I've seen
god,
that.
it's
But
amazing.
what I'm saying is, I mean, yeah, you could.
Sounds
I mean,
like fucking Neil Peart's in your room.
You could, yeah, I mean
It's craziness.
They
They can just fool you with all the frequencies.
Yeah, the ability that they have. Well, I mean, obviously you can exceed the human being. You know what I mean? Replicating.
Speed wise, yeah, but I mean, can you
But,
really get
but where's the soul?
touch?
But where's
Can
the
you really
soul
get the
in that,
touch?
like where's the
That would look like a
dynamic?
great
Where's the
drummer.
real dynamic? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, it goes back to that drum. How you mic up drums and stuff, and how you sample the kicks, and how you trigger it.
Well, then you're not even talking about the finesse of the drummer, because drummers have different tastes. Some hit the hi-hat really hard, some hit really soft.
Well, I
You
read
know?
that article about. They posted an article on the Rings of Saturn page that was talking about how they recorded that album, and they said they used a blend of acoustic drums and sampling. So I mean, they found desirable samples from those frequencies, and then they blended it with the performance. You know what I mean, and the natural sound of miking the drums.
Yeah.
So they're able to use the best of both worlds, which is pretty cool. Like, I'm going to ask Mike next time I talk to him about doing that, because usually I know he just straight samples it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is clean, effective, and it gets the goddamn job done. He does
Also saves him a lot of work.
Save a lot of work, yeah. Probably saves a lot of work, but
Yeah.
does it still have as much of a natural tone? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't really think that the natural tone should be something that's on the records. And
I love
for
it.
me,
When you say that,
For metal.
That's an ironic
For metal.
statement, just because records are the only, or the most accurate representation, of sound waves, because digital, everything is got to be squared off.
no, I'm
to
not talking
digital.
about records like in the literal sense. I'm just talking about like a recording
Oh, just
in general. Just being recorded in general. That I don't think it's necessarily a big deal. Plus, it gives the live sound 10 times better sound, because you're gonna have that organic, that real, I'm there feel, as opposed to having, like, when you listen to records, they can sound a little thin, they can maybe sound a little like really touched up, a lot of reverb and all that kind of shit. And then when you hear them live, like a really good band live,
Yeah.
it just amazes you. Like Lamb of God was one of the bands that I saw live
Yeah.
that I was like blown away when I saw them,
Sure.
because they were like fucking note for note.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. They're no. I mean, they're not slouches musically.
No, they do everything exactly. I mean, they're
It's-
not like
it would
incredible
vary.
guitar players or anything. They're good writers. But
I can see how that can vary from genre to genre. I mean,
yeah, I think like
how
a blues
you
band would
approach
want to be
recording,
organic. A
yeah.
punk band would probably want to be organic because they like that dirty, nitty gritty sound.
yeah, I mean, exactly.
That raw
It's
sound.
different, you know what I mean? Like, I was just listening to a band in Jordan's car when I was on the way over. He just had it on, like, XM radios, like, random shit. And it was this band, Taking Back Sunday, that was on there.
Yeah, I've heard them.
And, like, I was listening to the vocals, and I was like, this is so hokey. Like, it's
Because you
so,
can just tell that it's
like,
auto-tuned,
yeah,
or
yeah,
that
I mean,
maybe
like, there's, like,
he's
it's
not
like-
the guy singing
there's
it.
there's no human that sounds like this, you know what I mean? Like, there's absolutely no, like, I don't care how much honey is in your voice. I mean, maybe he's a good performer or whatever, but like, just the way the way it was produced. I mean, like, okay, yeah, you can get away. Yeah, exactly. It was very overproduced. You can get away with a slick recording with your band, sure. You combine that really slick recording with just too clean of vocals. You know what I mean? Like with
Or too perfect of guitars, or too
Just-
perfect of drums, and they can just ruin it.
I don't know, man. There was something about it, something about the vocals that just bothered me. I was like, I mean, they don't sound bad. I was like, yeah, the vocals pretty good. And then the more I listened to it, I was like, whoa, this sounds really fake. Like at first, I was like, it's pretty cool. And then the more I listened to it, the way it was just gated, and the way that the phrases went, and the way that the harmonies were there, it was all too clean. It was like you say. It was basically
You can tell that the mixer touched the shit out of it.
It was essentially overproduced. Like you could have left that one alone a long time ago. You know what
Sure,
I mean?
yeah.
Like you didn't need to make the vocal. I mean, they kind of turned the vocals into ice cream when maybe it started off as something a little bit more rugged. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they cleaned it up too much. So I don't know. There's always that danger you run into. You know what I mean? Like I think you can benefit from a kick-ass recording, but you can still, it varies from genre to genre.
It does vary from genre to genre, and to kind of, what the artist wants, I think,
Right.
But obviously, like a blues artist or like a funk artist or a fusion artist, they're gonna want that organic sound because their live sound is their sound.
Right.
A metal artist is like especially like a super technical metal artist.
Looking to
it
showcase.
needs to be perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
Needs to be like note for note identical to what it's supposed to be. There should be no fuck ups, no weird expressional variations. That's something people don't even maybe know what goes into recording is like sometimes they just loop the same guitar track over and over again, as opposed to having that.
You're saving work and time when you do that.
Yeah, you are saving time, but it's expensive.
But what the hell's the difference? Like, I mean, like if you're playing the same thing and you're just you're looping the performance. Like, if you're already playing the same thing, what does it matter?
I would say because you can play the riff in slight different ways that would definitely give you a different feel. I mean, it sounds weird. It really does sound weird. But I can tell you, like, if I were to teach you a riff, and if I were to play it my way and you were to play it your way, it would sound different. It would not sound alike, and it would be the different expressions of the tone in our fingers that would come through. That's why, like, guys like Slash, you can't emulate their tone. Guys like Stevie Ray Vaughan, you can't emulate their tone. Well, they're not super technical. Stevie's pretty technical, but I mean, like Slash isn't very technical. He's got a feel that's all his own.
You don't think that's you don't think gear has a big role in that, a big component in that?
Gear and touch. It's a mix between the two. You can't just
the
have
tone,
one
just
or
the
the
tone
other.
in his fingers, you think?
Yes, I do feel that Slash obviously plays a Les Paul. It's a very common instrument. You would think that other people would have that similar tone. He also plays a Marshall amp, which is also a very common amplifier.
Yeah.
I don't know what's it. Marshall.
I don't know what he plays. Probably a Marshall.
800, I think. But yeah, I mean he uses a lot of common things, yet Slash is pretty fucking distinct when you hear him.
Yeah.
His note choicing, his phrasing.
Well, but that goes back to melody more. You know what I mean? That's more than just the.
Well, it's also his feel, because all that comes into the feel. Like you could play the same melody as me,
maybe,
and I could make it sound more fluid,
maybe.
or you could make it sound more fluid, depending on the person.
All right, I'm gonna take a leak. Why don't we set up for the riff of the day and?
All right.
Do that.
It is getting there.
Yeah, I'm guessing we're gonna work out.
Okay.
Noise. Very nice.
I don't know how much of that was actually in the picture.
I'll try one. Let's see. Architects riff, perhaps. Let's see here. We got time down to.
Missed the string entirely.
Oh yeah,
Like, oh shit.
we know all about that.
For sure.
Hey guys, thanks again for visiting us here on the Hump-cast. We want to encourage you to go see our friends at Common Sense, to come check out our shows when we're playing them. Again, this week we're always brought to you by Common Sense, an awesome gift shop. Go get your stickers there. Shout out to our friends Talking Movies, fellow podcasting guys. Check those guys out. They talk about movies. Can you believe it? We just want to thank you guys for hitting our 10th Hump-cast, and for the people that do tune in. We definitely notice that, and it's awesome. So, until we meet again in the multiverse, we'll see you from the Hump-cast.